So, what are some of the main issues? Well, global warming, obviously, electronic waste, plastic waste, power generation and the different ways it's used, fuel and batteries, loss of habitat, as well as the dangerous chemicals and the negative effects they have on the environment. So let's look at energy production. As a result of the rapid growth of the population as well as technology as a whole, pollution has skyrocketed. This is because we've needed to produce more energy for more people and to accommodate the spike in people we've seen over the last 200 years. Now, this has led to a large level of emissions of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane, which has led to global warming. Global warming in of itself is a direct result of humanity's strive to accommodate for more people. And we can see this specifically with large power plants and oil rigs, as they're responsible for at least half of all the global warming we see in our world. And furthermore, from those knock-on effects of using those oils in vehicles and transportation, it just it's a big problem. Now, let's take a look at battery and fuel. So if you see the average alkaline AAA, double A's, typical stereo household batteries are made of steel with a mix of different materials such as zinc, manganese, potassium, and graphite, with the remaining balance made up of papers and plastics. However, as a result of the spike in technology over the past couple decades, over 3 billion batteries are used and wasted every year. Furthermore, we see that every single day, more than 340 million gallons of fuel is being used by the general public, resulting in over 300 billion gallons every single year. Now, most of this gas and oil and fuel ends up being released into the waters and into the sky as greenhouse gases, as I just mentioned. Furthermore, the use of all these fuels emits over 33 million metric tons of gas into the atmosphere every single year. So safe to say, as it currently stands, batteries and fuel are an extreme problem, especially with the fact that these batteries are being dumped in massive landfills and can seep into rivers and waterways, and they can be dumped in the ocean, which creates polluting within the waters, which can damage the ecosystem. Now, furthermore, following from that, we're looking at some habitat loss. So more than 20% of the Amazon has been destroyed, roughly the size of Israel. That's a pretty large area. Furthermore, the sea levels are rising, as 200 billion metric tons of ice is lost from the Antarctic every single year as a result of all the greenhouse gases warming the average temperature of the planet up. Furthermore, rhinos, polar bears, and tigers are all projected to be extinct by the end of the century as a result of massive losses in rainforests due to our rapid increase in machinery to deforest the land. A loss of ice, as I just mentioned, with the ice being lost from the Antarctic, as well as poaching of these animals, such as rhinos, which in a sense is due to our more efficient weapons that we've been using in recent years. Furthermore, nuclear bombs, as a result of the new technologies into researching of nuclear fission that happened 100 so years ago, has led to tragedies in many places, such as the ocean, where testing sites have been done. Nevada was a particular issue, with I think over 1,000 bombs dropped in Nevada, as well as other testing sites in Russia and around the world, with no regard for animal life and the extreme toxic waste that it produces. So, on average, anywhere from 200 to 2,000 species go extinct every single year. So, as I talked about with batteries, a lot of our technologies today, especially common devices such as, for example, iPhones, we can see have very dangerous chemicals. Just within your average smartphone, laptop, and computer, we have metals such as lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, chlorine, and bromine. Now, with close to 150 million smartphones being thrown away every year, despite the fact that we can reuse and recycle every single one of the metals and elements found within the iPhone, these metals end up being put into dumping sites, in a sense. And these materials can then seep into rivers, similar to the likes of batteries, spilling toxic material and polluting the water. Now, of course, polluting the waters with materials such as lead, mercury, and arsenic, as well as chlorine, will kill most wildlife, especially in large amounts. Like I said, 150 million smartphones. If those end up in water, that will cause massive, massive safety hazards, not only for the wildlife, but for people themselves having to drink from the water. For example, those who are less fortunate in life. Now, exposed contact to lead, for example, can lead to kidney and brain issues, as well as anemia as a result of its high toxicity levels. Furthermore, just looking at bromine can cause burns and irritations when exposed to skin. And we all know what happens when you try to drink chlorine. So, what are some steps forward? Because it can't all be bad, right? Technology has been used in some amazing ways, especially going forward in the future. So we can look at a couple of examples, specifically with lab-grown meats, and with our new ability to grow meats using animal cells in a humane way, has reduced methane emissions as a result of not needing to use cows. So in the future, if we don't need to use cows, the massive amount of methane that they produce will massively decrease. So we're seeing labs in Sweden and labs around the world using fermentation to grow artificial milk, as well as cell reproduction to grow meat. Furthermore, electric cars are currently being pushed heavily, and you can see most cars now have a hybrid form or a fully electric form. Furthermore, with the transition away from coals, we can see the use of green hydrogen. However, one of the main two interesting ones to look at is the use of technology to monitor species. So with new tracking technologies, we can track animals, especially those who may be near extinction, to get a better understanding of what issues may have arisen and why this is happening to help prevent them in the future, as well as large tech firms such as Apple investing in toxic-free materials for their phones in order to help and to prevent toxic materials getting into waterways and getting into consumption, whether that be from animals, plants, or humans themselves. Just one more point about something interesting that's going on with technology is 3D printing, specifically 3D printing houses. So this here is a house from Germany, and as 3D printing becomes more and more accessible, the ideal 3D printed homes is becoming more and more viable, with it being sustainable, much cheaper, and a quicker method of building these homes using the basic technology to produce the whole foundation of the house. So just a few benefits. It costs a fraction of the price of a normal house. In a sense, a house like this would normally cost you around $200,000. However, this one, since the materials are much cheaper, it would only go for around $10,000. It's versatile, being able to be completed in many different styles, as well as reducing the use of heavy powered equipment, such as the transportation of these materials, because it's just specially made, reusable, and sustainable 3D printed material. Now, there's little to no carbon footprint on this house, and it is extremely structurally sound, as it can withstand up to magnitude 8 earthquakes. Furthermore, the time it takes to produce one of these houses can take as little as a week.